An Album a Day is my exploration into the Korean music scene. This podcast will cover mainstream, indie, and some underground artists within the scene and provide both factual and opinionated commentary. The biggest benefit to sharing my thoughts this way is that it will hopefully expose you to more great music and exploration of your own. In the world of K-pop idols, stories of long training processes and cultivation to be a star aren't a new phenomenon. More particularly, having the process documented on a survival television show in South Korea isn't a new thing either. However, when it comes to siblings Lee Chan-hyuk and Lee Soo-hyun, South Korean-born children who spent years in Mongolia with their missionary parents before returning to become the only major label pre-debut winners of K-pop Star 2, well, that's truly unique. Today, we begin exploring mischievous child musician, better known as Akdong musician or Akmu, and their debut album Play, right after the drop.
You're tuned into An Album a Day. Show, start.
All right, I think I'm ready. Hey, y'all. Akdong musician, which literally means mischievous child musician, are a brother-sister duo signed to YG Entertainment, making their major label debut on April 7th, 2014. The timing of today's episode couldn't have been more perfect, as a report on major South Korean website Naver announced that they've renewed their contract with YG Entertainment for another 5 years. This means that the label will have been their home for a total of 12 years before they can consider other options. Before settling into the folds of one of Korea's prominent entertainment companies, Lee Chan-hyuk and his little sister Lee Soo-hyun lived a life outside of the spotlight. In fact, a portion of their life was financially hard, so much so that the siblings had to depart from the traditional education system in favor of homeschooling from their mother. Despite this, their profound love for music led to them joining a small label once returning to Korea from their 2-year placement in Mongolia and performing in various areas around the country. It wasn't until they auditioned for and won the second season of K-pop Star that their passion would become wider known. With Lee Chan-hyuk composing all their songs and Lee Soo-hyun as the main vocalist, the duo spent the months after their 2012 win working hard on their debut album, Play. Now we have some unexpected sound that I don't know if it's the refrigerator or whatnot. This is most certainly not in the show notes. I'm just telling y'all. If the audio sounds a little peculiar suddenly, that's why. I don't know what just turned on. I don't even Their debut studio album is just over 38 minutes long and ushered in an unforgettable folk music experience into the idol scene. YG Entertainment maintains an active role in R&B and hip-hop artistry, but those involved in Akmu's debut project, including the label's founder himself, found themselves challenged in new ways. In fact, it was best to simply leave as much of the album as possible to the siblings, which is honestly the extra magical cherry on top of a dynamic album. There's a distinct sound to YG Entertainment artists, that of Teddy Park, actually, which is something we've acknowledged in past seasons of the show. And Akmu's debut album leaps out from behind that creative perimeter beautifully. Remember when I said things can hit you like fresh mint, that toothpaste tingle up to the nostrils? This entire album is that. For listeners with synesthesia, yeah, I can only imagine what you experienced while listening to this album. It hit me at points like a forest of evergreen trees. Lee Chan-hyuk wrote every bit of the 11 tracks on the album, and he and his sister flutter from one thing to the next wonderfully. And the YG Entertainment style isn't 100% missing, as there are occasional raps and funky instrument flair on certain tracks. Standout track Hair Part is a perfect example of this folk, jazz, and hip-hop concoction, actually. The only thing that seems abrupt through the listening experience is Artificial Grass. It's a boastful folk ditty that, though smartly placed in the middle, seems so much louder than the rest of the album. K-pop fans on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being essential listening and 1 not worth mentioning, the A3Day rating for this album is a 5. Akmu stepped into the scene as an undeniable force, moving over 6 million units worldwide on this album alone. After listening to album after album of songs that are close in style, shifting to a genre we've not explored has me even more excited about their discography. I was excited months ago, actually. I've never listened to all their works despite appreciating them and being a fan of some of their live performances. Let's run along together in the field of Akmu happily. Continue to check out the hashtag A3Day Highlights playlist on Spotify as it features tracks from today's albums and past episodes' artists, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye, y'all.
Your favorite foreign Korean music historian exploring all the industry from A to Z.
There's sponsored ads and social media hashtags, but this show is truly supported by the efforts of my Migualas, the most amazing fan base a little entertainer could ever have. Special shout out to my Patreon patrons, the student body, the scholars, and the staff who keep my vision of becoming your favorite foreign Korean music historian exploring all the industry from A to Z a real thing. If you're interested in supporting the growth of this content, please visit patreon.com/multifacetedacg. And for as little as $1 a month, you can get in on the magic too. Interested in continuing your support at the free $99 price? I'd love you for it. You can still engage with the show and me, your lovely host, when you retweet, repost, and share the show and use hashtag A3 and the word day. Please consider leaving a few stars or a review on Apple Music, iTunes, IMDb, or Podchaser to keep things growing in the right direction.